All right, so you've probably released something on Spotify and then you listen to it the first day and it sounds great. And then a week, two later, you're like, why did I release this? This sounds like garbage. So basically, I'm in this video, I'm going to show you why this happens and also how I can help you prevent any post-release regret. Okay, so the number one reason why this happens, usually if you're not a expert music producer, expert mixer, or expert master engineer or whatever, is you need to hire a professional. Okay, if you try to DIY your way through music production and you don't have the skills required to do it, the best option for you is to hire a professional, right? And also, I see a lot of artists, they think that hiring a professional, they can get away with doing $50 mixes on Fiverr. And I'm going to show you why this probably won't work for you. It may work for you in the beginning, but eventually you'll stall out with getting these cheap mixes. So this is why Fiverr and cheap options won't work for you anymore if once you want to break into the next level of your band. The reason why is because you're paying for cheap price, not quality service. Right? So like if you go to McDonald's and get a burger, it's beef, but it's low quality beef. But if you go to a steak restaurant and get a steak, it's still beef, but it's way higher quality, right? And it's better for you. So think of it like that. And also, when you go with cheap options on Fiverr and things like that, their workflows are typically way too basic for the type of service you need, right? So music is extremely complex. You need to have constant communication and make sure everything is right because people are emotionally invested into their music, right? The fans are and you are. So if we're not doing calls, if we're doing everything over text, and also the worst thing is if you have to pay for revisions from your mix master engineer, that's a giant red flag, right? So in all, like with this like philosophy, when you pay attention, right? If you get free mixes or cheap mixes in the past, you almost always feel uneasy still because you didn't pay for a premium price and a premium price service, right? That's why when people hire me, they hire an expert that runs a real business, right, and provides top quality services. And if you don't believe me, I'm just going to show you just a few of my results that I've gotten for clients. As you can see, I have plenty of video testimonials right here. I have other songs that I worked on right here. And I have a giant wall of results that I've gotten for clients. And I also have a complete case study of me taking a band from raw recordings all the way to final results, right? If you go on Fiverr, they may have reviews, but they won't have actual stories, right? Because most of the time their systems aren't dialed in enough to produce stories on how they actually transformed artists' lives. All they did was give them a service, right? So it's extremely important that you actually hire a business expert because they're going to give you the highest quality client experience, right? Client experience is huge with getting a mix and master from a professional, because if you maybe you get a decent mix, but if the whole onboarding process, the workflow, everything is messed up and there's no systems, you're probably not going to go back. And I'm in the business of people wanting to come back, right? So that's why I run a real business, not just a weird freelancing thing. Now, the next thing I do to prevent you having any post-release regret is I need to understand your vision, right? So again, if you go with a cheap or free option, the likelihood that the mixer will take time to actually understand your vision, actually sit on a call with you, get you inside an artist portal where everything is organized and we can actually go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7 and get your songs exactly where you need them to be, it's going to be very small. Because again, most mixers don't run a business. They just go off vibes, right? And that's no way to actually service a client. You can't service clients by going off vibes, right? That's why you may like the mixer's personality if you go with the cheap or free option, but the results are almost never there because they just go off vibes. That's why having systems to give you the best mix possible is why I am steamrolling my competitors in client satisfaction. And it may sound like I'm cocky saying that, but it's actually true. I haven't had one client that is not satisfied and didn't give me a 5-star review, right? And by the time, if you're watching this video, maybe that changes and as I get more projects, because like not everyone is going to be completely happy even if I give them the best quality service. But as of right now, me making this video in 2026, I have probably the best client satisfaction out of anyone at my level inside the market right now. So this is how I understand your vision to give you the best results. So first, what we do is if you decide you want to work with me, you just go to this calendar page. You'll be shown to this calendar page and you get to pick a time that you want to have a call with me. And this call is designed to get more of an understanding about the project you're looking to work on with me. So I'm going to ask you various questions on the call to make sure that we're actually aligned to work. Again, if you go with cheap or free options, most of the time they just say, hey, or most of the time you'll say, hey, I need a mix. And they'll be like, okay, here's how much it is. Send me the files. Right. And they have no introductory or discovery process to see if you're actually a good fit. Right. The next thing is after you book the call, after you officially sign up, you're going to go through a form process. I have a few questions on here to actually make sure that I understand where you're at and how I can give you the best result possible. So first of all, I need to know, you tell me when to start, you tell me when you need it finished, and also you tell me when you're actually going to release a song, right? Then you tell me the type of project you need. And next you're going to tell me the top 3 influences that your band has, right? Because if you send me files and you just say mix it, I don't really know what your influences are and what kind of sound I need to craft for you, right? And then I also ask for a reference track, one song that you want to sound close to. You'll never sound exactly like it, but I always ask for one song that you want me to use as a reference when I'm mixing and mastering your music. Also, you can just get a custom sound for me. Then I ask what your sound goal is. Describe what emotions and energy you want personally. I ask what your audience's sound goal, what emotions and energy do they want to feel. I ask, why do you actually make music personally? Like, what's your goals in the industry? So I can craft a mix that pushes your goals forward, right? And doesn't set you back. And then I also ask, why does your audience listen to your music? What makes you unique compared to all the other artists? Once you tell me what makes you unique, I can actually craft a mix and master that pulls into that uniqueness of your sound, right? And then right here is just like some, like, do you want your stuff under NDA and a content agreement? So that's how I understand your vision. And this is what happens when I use this system before I even start work for the client. This is what happens when I understand the vision. So the best client I can give you an example of is Ivan. Literally, what he said was, you can watch the video by yourself. Like, link is in the description for my website. But the end result was fantastic. Like, I actually called him after I got home and listened to it in my car. I just had to call him and tell him he nailed the sound of my song. And that was only possible if we did the call and that I got all the information on the forum and on the call, right? And I actually remember him calling me, and he obviously didn't say this in the video, but he said it to me on the phone. He said, like, how did you know what was in my head? Which was like kind of like a mind-blowing moment for me. He was basically like, how did you know the sound that was in my head and then make it into reality? It was like, I started thinking like, It was like telekinesis or whatever. And that was only possible because I understand the artist's vision, right? So again, this is what happens when I use this system on clients. I get results like these. And you can go listen to the songs and read all the reviews and everything. This is why it's important to, again, hire a mixer with a real business that gets results and uses systems. Okay. Also, the last thing is how I prevent post-release regret for you is I give you unlimited revisions for free. Okay. And the number one way I prevent post-regress release is my free unlimited revisions. I just said that. Most engineers that you go with, like on Fiverr, or your friend, or like someone you know, most engineers do all the work up front. They mix the entire song and then send you the final mix, and it's nothing how you expected. And that is 100% a systems problem. If you want to stop that from happening, you need to hire me, because I will actually go through the process with you step by step, and I won't give you a final mix until I'm exactly aligned with you, right? Again, most engineers do all the work up front and then send you a mix, and then it's nothing how you expected. That's why it's important to go with someone like me. And I'll make sure to get it right for you no matter what, which is exactly why none of my clients regret working with me, right? Because I take their vision and craft it into reality. So, if you got this far in the video, this is how I can help with next steps. So it's very simple. It's very, like, this is the most simplest way you're ever going to get a top quality service for your music. It's going to be easier than Fiverr. It's going to be easier than working with a cheap guy, because I actually have systems again. So if you want to get your songs sounding massive with the massive metal roadmap, that's my system. In the next 14 days, without losing your original sound or paying high risk rates, all you got to do is go to TonalChemistAudio.com, watch this video, because I'm basically qualifying people that actually need this service and that can use it, and it has value for them. And I'm also disqualifying people that don't need this service. So go ahead and watch this video all the way through. Once you do that, all you got to do is schedule a session, pick your time, and I will be happy to talk to you about your project and get you actually onboarded. Now, if you want, well, you probably will want to, it's not an if, you can go to my pricing section, and these pricing options are obviously subject to change if you're watching this video like years later. But I got a quote calculator, everything, so you can actually become informed. I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm not pulling a gotcha on you. I'm not trying to scam you or anything. I literally have all the information you need to make a decision. So it's very simple. Go to my website, TonalChemistAudio.com, watch the video, schedule a session, and let's get your music sounding massive.